everyone, and welcome to your Form Friday tip. Today we're not just going to talk about one movement, but rather we're going to compare the sumo squat to a sumo deadlift using a kettlebell. And you could also do this with a dumbbell. You could also do these things with barbells, but I don't have barbells at home. So we're going to use the kettlebell today because there is a slight subtle difference, and I know that it can be confusing. So first off, let me just show you from the front the two different movements. With your sumo squat, take a wide stance, right? Just like a sumo, if you're going to come up to your opponent and you would stomp your feet down. So it's a wider stance than your regular squat. And also, your toes are going to turn out just a little bit more. So you're going to get more inner thigh action. You're going to get more outside glute action. The one thing that is the same is that your knees follow your toes. So from the front, it looks like this. You go down, and then you come back up. You go down, and then you come back up. From the side, let's look at it. I've got my wide stance. You'll notice that my shoulders are stacked right over my hips. My shoulders are going to stay over my hips as I slide down an imaginary wall, knees opening out, and then I come back up to stand. So slide down, knees wide, squeeze up, stand. Lower, lift, lower, and lift. You are working to get down nice and low, hips down in line with the knees, but the entire time, my shoulders are over my hips, as well as knees drive out towards pinky toes. Now let's talk sumo deadlift. So a squat is where your knees bend and your butt goes back. A deadlift is a hinging action. So that's one thing that I want to point out differently. With your sumo deadlift, it's not quite as wide as your sumo squat, and your toes are going to point probably not quite as far out. But the difference is you sit back and down. Sit back and down. So my hips are now behind my knees, significantly farther behind my knees. And I'm going to come up to stand. So you sit back and down, you come up to stand. You sit back and down, and then come up to stand. From the side is where you'll notice the biggest difference. So I've got my wider sumo stance, but because it's a deadlift, I'm going to grab that kettlebell down at the bottom. My hips are back, my chest is forward, not stacked over my hips. And then you rise up to stand. So the hips hinge back, the hips drive forward. Hips drive back, hips drive forward. The entire time, what you can't see here is that my core is braced. So it's more like you're sitting back into a chair. I'll show you from the front again. So wide stance, sit back and down, hinging at the hips. Sit back and down, hinging at the hips, versus sumo squat. Slide down the wall. Slide down the wall. From the side. Sumo squat to begin. Slide down the wall. Sumo deadlift. Sit back and down. Drive up. Thighs go to parallel. So both are excellent movements and exercises, but there are subtle differences that you should feel and see the difference in. Let me know if you have any questions.